author I chose is Alex Mcaulay, and he writes thrillers and action and like crime fiction and routines. And this book, first, is one of my favorites. I read it 4 times. It's called Bad Girls. And basically this book is really good because you feel like you're actually there. The way he tells his stories and the way that he brings you to really get to know the characters and develop their storylines, and the rising action especially, and the twist at the end of his book, especially this one. And the reason why this book, an author is one I chose, is because this book is about a girl that gets sent away to camp for bad girls, and she doesn't like it at all, and she doesn't get along with anyone except one girl, and there's 2 other really mean girls, and they get stuck at an accident one day, and they get lost on their own in the woods, and it really is scary for them, and they don't know what to do, and so they travel a bit, and they get away from that horrible accident and that happened that left other campers stranded too, and they end up in the middle of the woods in this what looks like an abandoned cabin, but it's not, and it's occupied, and later they run into trouble with people that aren't good at all, and they don't know who to trust, and they want to try to make it back in camp before it's too late. And it's like Lord of the Flies meets Mean Girls, and because they're sharing out in the middle of nowhere, and both of them just don't get along. They're all in this book, and also like Mean Girls because they're just not nice to each other. And I'm going to be the character in the book. My name is Anna Willer. I was sent to the Bahamas Bad Girls Camp Archstone, and I'm out here, and what happened is my friend Stacy and we got stuck out with 2 other girls who were really rude, and it's just horrible, Erica and Kira, and they're not very nice girls. And we ended up going to this abandoned cabin, but it ended up being this old woman lived there, and her caretaker just up and left one day and never came back. And so we started helping her out, but then after we left, because we just needed to try to get our way back to camp and find our way, even though we have no map, no compass, and we were lost. So what we did is we ended up going to the forest for a few more hours, and then we ran into these twin brothers. And what happened is that we were really scared, and we don't trust them, and we need to get away from them. And I hope we can get back to camp and survive before it's too late. The next book by Alex Mcaulay is called Living Road. It takes place out in the snow during a blizzard snowstorm. Courtney and Raina and 2 other guys and another friend, they're all trapped in the snowstorm blizzard on a ski trip one weekend to the Colorado mountains, and it is one of the worst snowstorms ever, and Courtney is stuck, stranded. They barely have any rations, food, water, you name it. They're out there and they don't know what to do. There's no adults, there's no one, nothing, and nowhere to go. Their car's totaled, they can't drive through the tons of snow that's layered on the ground. They don't know what to do, and they think they're alone, but they really aren't. Courtney is the main protagonist. She is strong and independent, and she tries her best to not let her anxiety or any stress or just the horrible situation get to her, and she is the one to take charge of the group. She is really the leader because she knows that if they don't stick together and they don't try to survive this winter and this horrible weather alone, they won't make it. And there's basically 2 guys that end up being alive. They're in this van, and one's incapacitated, but he's still alive. And the other one is, they don't trust him, and something seems off about him, And so why these strangers are out there, and they have to try their best to survive and find a way out of it and to survive the cold. And it's a really good book. I read it 3 times, and I highly recommend it. It's definitely my favorite book by this author, especially because of the most major twist of any of his books at the end. And now I'm going to be the character Courtney Stanton. Hi, I'm Courtney, and I'm stranded out in the mountains with my friends during this horrible snowstorm, and we barely have any food left, and we're trying hard to stay warm and build fires and fight for our survival. And what we really need to do is get out of here before it's too late, and our car we have to leave it here, and it's unfortunate, but the only way we're going to survive is if we keep moving and stopping for rest sometimes, but as little as possible. And it's important to also keep warm. And unfortunately, which seemed fortunate at first, we ran into someone, but it turned out the people we ran into aren't much help. And one of the men that we ran into, we don't trust, and we don't know what's going to happen, and he won't leave us alone, and he keeps following us. And we thought for us to stay together would be the best decision, but it's looking to be like that's not a good decision anymore. And we have a map, luckily, and a compass, and we're trying to make it out of here as fast as possible to safety. And I really hope we can. And I think we have enough blankets, and we have a tent enough to last us with the remaining water and food rations that we have for at least a couple more days at most, I hope. The last book is Shelter Me by Alex Mcaulay. And this one is during wartime, World War II, Hitler, Holocaust, and Nazi Germany, but it takes place in England and then in Wales. And the girl Maggie is sent away to a boarding school for Catholic girls, and the headmistresses and all the nuns are rude. Most of the other girls are rude, and she doesn't get along. So one day there's an accident on the beach, and she ends up being frightened because of this. And this other girl at the boarding school she took a liking to, they're kind of friends. They decide they need to get away, and that accident leaves them rather scared, so they end up going, and they end up traveling to get to safety and going too far away because they want to go back home. And her aunt lives in Wales, but she's under hospice care. Her mom was injured during this bombing that happened in Wales, England, which sent her to the Wales boarding school. So she ends up, after that day on the beach, trying what she can to get away from the lighthouse and the boarding school out on the ocean. She ends up going as far as she can to get to her aunt. She doesn't know exactly where her aunt is, but she's determined to find her. And the other girl also lives in Wales, and she's trying to get home too. And so the nuns ended up finding out that they left or escaped. So there's 2 different major twists and really shocking dramatic event that happens that's really important as part of the rising and falling action. And the character Maggie being there at the boarding school, like somewhere she doesn't belong, and not being religious and everything, is a really big important part of the plot and storyline for her character. My name is Maggie, and I was sent away during World War II from my own country of England, where the bombings were really bad, over to Wales. I go to a Catholic boarding school, and I did here at first to get away from the bombings, but then I realized quickly that besides all the classes being hard and people being rude, the nuns are just outrageously mean. And one day on the beach, I was trying to get away from that, and a girl I know followed me to. There was an accident on the beach, and that led to there being a baby, and this baby was alone and needed someone to take care of her. So what ended up happening is my friend and I decided that we were going to do what we could to safety and get this baby somewhere safe, and to avoid the bombings and stop as much as necessary that we needed to along the way. And my plan is to find my aunt, and her plan is to find her family again, because we can't take being here. This is going where we just hope that the nuns aren't after us, and we need to make it to safety, and I need to find my aunt and make sure my mom is okay, and also get in contact with her. I know my aunt is staying at a hospital, but I'm not sure which one in Wells, but I intend to find out, and I hope that I could see her again soon, and I hope that this baby will also be okay. And to sum it up, all the books are really good if you like thriller and crime, but be careful if you can't really deal well with something explained that's like graphic or in detail for like crimes. And like the criminals are not your average criminals. They're really bad in these books, especially Oblivion Road, but also Bad Girls. And I also suggest that if you're really into like historical thing like World War II, and you want some book that gets the facts right about living there and like what life was like during those times, well, Shelter Me isn't the best example of this, but it's still a good fast-paced read. And also, if you really like the characters, we explain their backstory so you can like sympathize with them. And well, it's not going to happen in these books, but they're good summer readings and easy reading. And also, if you like light reading, check out Lost Summer by Alex Mcaulay. And the reason why I like these books so much and I read them all is because I like, even though some of the characters are hard to understand or they are interesting, and the things they go through and the events and the bad guys are really entertaining to me. So if you can handle intense like crime and stuff, then you would like the books. And I also think that the books are good because when the bad guys are doing things, you can have, you can relate to them, and you like the characters aren't like, they're smart and they're not like completely ignorant of what they need to do in a situation where there's bad people. And in Shelter Me, it's just really intense when like you find out these are the people, like these nuns, like what they're up to and what they're part of, and it's just really sinister and dark. And the topics and situation and stuff that's going on that these bad guys cause, these things are like real world issues that are still real things going on, but without giving too much or too many spoilers. All of the people in it that you might think are too bad are up to like bad things, and it just makes these books even more entertaining. So I hope you check them out, and that you would like at least like one that you might want to read his other books too.